All right. So let's talk about economic performance and labor. How's our labor market and workforce development here? And then I had on Kaipo Kroll. He used to be the leading civilian at the Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard, and he has since retired, but he's still involved in the community. And he talks about he's real passionate about workforce development for the youth here. You mentioned we bring in a lot of contractors, and a lot of times we can use the opportunities that are already here and kind of leverage those to train people to enter these roles within the labor market and the economy that are already here. So if you just want to touch on a little bit of our labor market, I don't know, the unemployment, the workforce, or anything you have to share around that.
Yeah, so we have one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country.
Mm.
It's generally not because our economy is overly booming, it's because we don't have enough workers. We have one of the lowest worker participation rates in the country.
Mm.
So when you think you're an economist, you always have to consider what's driving this. Is this supply or demand? It's always both, but what is if there's one or the other? Hawaii is generally a supply constrained economy. And what I mean by that is we don't produce enough we don't produce enough housing, we don't produce enough workers, and people are making decisions based on that. When it comes to workforce development, one of the ideas is allowing people because of just economic change, that the economy, they've lost their job in one industry, that they can with some training, or reorient those skills and work in something else, or bringing up our local labor force or our kids and stuff, which is incredibly important. We want highly skilled human capital. Generally, most people are leaving, especially young people are leaving. So what that means is we're having a trouble matching really talented people with opportunity. And there are some well-paying jobs, especially in the civilian sector related to Pearl Harbor and stuff. Those are particularly for non-college educated, the workforce, which is really important here. That's one aspect. Our unions do another. We're the most unionized place in the country. The unions do a good job of raising up and providing opportunities to people, and getting them good salaries. So those are other issues. But if you do talk to most businesses, they have trouble hiring people. So we're suffering from a lack of workers. And then when we have the 11th highest wages in the country, but when you adjust them for cost of living, they're usually the 30th, 40th. So Hawaii businesses are in this really tough spot where they have to endure higher labor costs, but workers feel like they're getting the short end of the stick. And so that is a big problem for national competitiveness and things like that.
Gotcha. And then so you talked about the cost of living there and the population moving, the demographics of Hawaii. I don't know if you're familiar. I don't want to put you on the spot. I don't expect you to know every nook and cranny of everything that I could throw out there. But demographically, are we seeing, like you said, young people leaving? Is the population steady? I know there's parts of the world, like I think Japan, for instance, where they're coming up on this issue of a very older demographic and not a lot of younger people. Anything you see there as far as?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, one is more people are choosing to leave Hawaii for particularly for Native or for American citizens, right? So people who are born here will tend to out-migrate. What has been sustaining us a lot is international migration. So we do have lots of people who come here and live here who are migrants, and been a very important part of stabilizing our workforce. It's slightly changing the current Trump administration is really putting the kibosh on immigration inflows across the country. It's unclear to me if that's affecting Hawaii or not. But everybody agrees that we're going to, like, you just need workers to have economic growth.
Mm.
And immigration is one thing where we're seeing less of. That's at the national level here. And it's American workers probably pay more taxes than immigrants because they tend to be higher income individuals. So that's something that we should think about. From my perspective, welcoming people who are hardworking people that want to incorporate themselves into our economy is always helpful and welcome. But not everybody sees it that way, right? And so that's one thing that we have to contend with in terms of, the demographic issue. I think our fertility rate is slightly higher than the national average, but most U.S. born the U.S. average is 1.6 kids for every female, which is below replacement.
Mm.
It's slightly higher than it's much higher than Japan and South Korea, but slightly higher than other places. But usually what makes the United States, a lot of people are more optimistic on the United States relative to everything else, is our immigration levels. Like, we're a country of immigrants. We've been able to accept most people. There's 95% of people who call themselves Americans were immigrants at one point. Even on both sides of the political aisle, people still pride themselves on being an immigrant nation. Like, how that happens and the long-term prospect of that, it means different things to different people. But that's the hope. And Hawaii has really benefited from a lot of different immigrant waves as well. So, one of the ways I kind of judge success in terms of our economic policy making and things is, are people moving here? Right? Are we becoming a more attractive place? One of the dangers of Hawaii is we have an older population than the average, right? And the people who tend to stay are the older people, and the people who tend to leave are forming their families, and they're young. Those are the people you really want to capture because they have like way more energy. They start businesses. Older people are nice. They're resistant to change. They don't want anything. We all need our kapuna. We all need to respect them, but like, they do provide a different environment to things. They do not provide economic growth, and they're not working generally. One of the really things that is happening around the world in the United States is our fiscal transfers disproportionately go to the older population. So we're not investing in young people, right? And so, but older people vote, and they're very good at that. And that's one of the bigger concerns, especially here in Hawaii, where we have a lot of respect for our elders and kapuna. We want to divert resources. But one of the things that's very important to remember is we also want to be investing in our next generation and ensuring that our next generation has opportunities as well.
The opinions and statements presented on this show are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations. Never make any investment or financial decisions based on information offered on this show without first consulting your financial, legal, or tax advisor. All economic and performance information mentioned on the show is historical in nature and is not indicative of any future results. All indices mentioned on this show are unmanaged and cannot be invested in directly. All information is believed to be from reliable sources. However, we make no representation as to its completeness or accuracy. Lastly, all opinions expressed by Jason Cutitta and any guests on the show are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of or are endorsed by ToBA Financial. For Jason Cutitta, investment advisory services are offered through ToBA Financial LLC, a registered investment advisor offering advisory services in the state of Hawaii and in other jurisdictions where exempt from registration.